Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode is kind of a really funny episode, but it's got a bunch of stories I want to put together, and I'm going to title it Germany. Okay, so what is sort of like the influence of Germany to me when I first think of that word and that country? Well, obviously, in the early years of anime. I have to thank Germany for all the influence that bands like Modern Talking, of course, Peter Schilling, and of course Nina. But I mean, Germany's also one of these other countries that get a lot of Japanese animation, but on a very, it was probably pretty really hard to get anime in there because there's some stories where I've gotten where they paid a rather really extravagant price for Japanese goods. Okay. And so I want to go over some of those stories, that I've been experiencing, and just sort of share that with you. Plus another story that I came across when I was on my trip into China. Okay, so the first story was a really old sort of story when I first got started selling things on eBay back in the early days of should I say the heyday of eBay. And what I did is I was in that sort of collecting era where I was sort of trying to get a lot of movies and CDs and that kind of stuff. And so one of the things I always used to go is I always went to the big flea market, the Vancouver flea market that happens on Main Street, kind of a little bit of a rundown part of town. And then of course at that time they also had another one, which was at the old Safeway on Kingsway Night. Now they've renovated into a condo and put a sale on foods there. But what I used to do is I used to go there and at least look at all these CDs and that kind of stuff. And I mean, sure, I'd pick out the occasional English CD that I didn't have and whatnot. So I built a fairly large collection of English CDs. But I'd always pay attention particularly to Japanese CDs. And the occasional Chinese CD that would always appear, and these things obviously they're used CDs and whatnot, and a lot of people didn't know what they are, so they end up using in the discount pile, and they just try to get rid of them really quickly, maybe like $2 to $5 for each one, and sometimes they have a deal where if you buy a whole bunch of them, you can get like 10 for like $10 or something like that. Just so they get rid of the ones that really weren't popular, and they had no idea what they were, so they're just getting rid of them. So I'd go through and I'd flip through and I'd pick up some odd Japanese CDs and that kind of stuff, and there'd be some pretty some titles I recognize, the Nami Amoros, the Ayumi Hamazakis and that kind of stuff I'd see all the time. But anyway, I came across these really strange ones. Okay, now again, become a memory. There's about 30. We're starting to approach 30 years on this, so I don't quite exactly remember the name. But what I remembered about it is like I picked up these 3 CDs. Okay, from this one thing, and again they're about $5 each or something like that. I remember. 2 of them were single CDs, and one of them was a double CD. And all they were was it was like a buto or a kabuki almost. Like the guy is a guy. He would like put white makeup on his face, almost like a mime. Okay, just a plain mime sort of face, and I don't know. It was like Shoei or something like that, or something like that. I can't remember the exact name of the artist, but he had 3 CDs and this double CD that I got, and basically I took it, and I just out of whim, I figured, okay, I don't really listen to this kind of music and this kind of stuff because it sounded, as I said, like very kabuki and kind of really kind of new agey kind of stuff. And I remember I was asking Matt about it, and one of my translators, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's one of these weird fruity guys. He might be like gay at this time or whatever." So I decided, okay, what the hell? I'm just gonna post this stuff on eBay and just see where it goes. And this time I didn't put it as a fixed auction. I put it as just a regular auction. Okay, and and I don't usually do this because anime CDs didn't really sell, or Japanese CDs didn't really sell really that high on eBay at the time. But I decided to put it on this one anyway, and the thing just went crazy. Okay, I think I ended up selling like the 2 single CDs for like $70 or $80 for those ones, and the double CD ended up selling to the $200 for this double CD for this thing. For something that I probably paid like $5 for, and I had no idea what it is really for the most part. And I find out that some person bidded up this auction up to like $200 for this double CD of this thing, and it was a person from Germany. And I was like, what? They don't know how to get this stuff, or like this is so rare or whatever. Because I know Germany has this thing called the luxury tax, and they have to pay a lot of extra money for to get these things in there. But I guess this is like something that was so unique and rare that they had to have this thing. So so I ended up sending this thing all the way to Germany, a $200 CD. Which I said I really didn't know too much about, and really got for the next nothing. But that was one of the my first sort of really extravagant sort of expenditure that I've seen from Germany. Okay, so the second sort of story is another eBay story, and it just recently happened. Okay. So I'm going through my my anime art books and that kind of stuff, and as you can see in my previous episode, I was going through different art books that I picked out and sort of went through, and one of the ones I kind of went through was a Sailor Moon book. Okay, so this particular Sailor Moon book here, I'm going to show up on the screen here, is one of the ones I went through, and it basically has a lot of the how-to art. It's some really some sketches and that kind of stuff of virtually every single character that's in Sailor Moon. Okay. Side profiles, front, how to sketch, how to start the character, and and basically it really helps you if you're learning how to draw Sailor Moon, sort of thing. And so I thought, okay, it's a pretty regular sort of art book type of thing. So I thought nothing of it, and then I decided, okay, what the hell? I'm just gonna it's not one of the ones I really would like to to keep, so I'm gonna try to sell it off and post up on eBay. And then when I started looking at this, I'm going, what? There's people posting this book for like $600 US. I'm thinking, okay. There's these people that are that will take something and they'll post it up on eBay, and they'll post up some retarded amount of money. Okay, just crazy money, hoping that one idiot is willing to buy it. Okay. But I found out that it's just not just one person, okay? It's some guys got 600, and some guys sell for 500. It's like really, really crazy. I was thinking, why is this book so crazy? I mean, sure, it's probably out of print or whatever, and it's fine because Sailor Moon stuff is now 20 years old, right? So I mean, it's probably next to impossible to get certain stuff from Sailor Moon. But I mean, wow, $600? What the hell? So I decided, okay, well, you know what, let them, price it that. So I'm gonna be a little more reasonable. I'm gonna take it down and make it lower so that at least if someone is that crazy to go for it, maybe they'll go for mine because mine's the lowest one and whatnot. So I posted up there for $400. Okay. And then, strange enough, I got a request saying, "Hey, can you send it to, Germany by something that has tracking?" And going, "Yeah, well, I'm sure I can do that for you." Yeah, so sure enough, worked out the deal, and then so now this particular art book that I just featured in an episode just a little while ago is on its way to Germany right now. Again, so some happy person in Germany has spent quite a lot of money. But they are, they got that Sailor Moon book that they're able to get. So that's, sort of my second story of some rather, crazy stuff that's going on in Germany. All right. Okay. So the third story is, it's not really an anime story, but it's an Asian culture sort of story. So I'll kind of go over it. Now I kind of made a really kind of loose mention of it in my archives when I went to my trip to China to go see my to basically go see my future wife. and basically, the story came from that. So I'm going to just do a precursor of it. Okay. So basically, I'm in my wife's city, which is Shenyang, China, and they have their districts, or the business districts, are kind of sorted by the type of store it happens to be. Okay, so for example, all the eyewear and optometry things are in one area. All the computer stuff, especially like printers and stuff, are kind of in another area. All the the phones and that kind of stuff are kind of in another area. So they got them in districts and that kind of stuff. So if you wanted to do some cross shopping and that kind of stuff, they're all sort of there for you. So anyway, we did this recording of our our wedding proceedings and that kind of stuff and whatnot. And so we recorded it on this Sony camera that takes like recordable CD discs, okay, like DVDRs, I think they were, and so we did all this recording, but for some reason this disc is not readable on a computer, or not, like, I can't put this into a DVD player and play it or something. So we didn't know what was going on. It ended up that we just didn't finalize the disc, but but anyway, so we decided, okay, well, let's take it to the Sony store, and maybe someone at the Sony store can help us figure it out. Okay, so and again, we go to the Sony store and whatnot. I'm my general rule of thumb is because I look Chinese, but I don't speak Mandarin. Okay, I speak Cantonese, so I don't understand really what they're saying to me, and I can't really answer back to them. But if I just be quiet, don't say anything, leave my headphones in, and just kind of mind my own business, then that's fine, right? They'll ignore me, and I'll be good. Okay. Anyway, so I'm standing here waiting around inside the Sony store here, and and my wife is getting her stuff done on the camera to try to figure out what's exactly going wrong, and to try to figure out that thing over there somewhere. Okay, so I'm just standing around looking around and whatever. It's just a standard, like, sort of a Sony camera store. So they sell a lot of Sony camera equipment, video camera stuff. They have a whole bunch of these video accessories and that kind of stuff or whatever. And okay, so I figured that's great. And then all of a sudden, I see 3 guys walking, okay? 3 white guys, okay? And they're gibbering away, and I'm not a really big expert on languages and that kind of stuff, but I'm listening to what they're saying, and it really sounds German, okay? I hear a lot of the hard K's and the oits and things like that, and those sort of sound endings and that kind of stuff and whatnot. So I'm thinking, okay, it sounds kind of German, all right? So these 3 guys, they come into the camera store, and they're German away. Obviously, they don't speak a lick of Chinese at all. Not Mandarin, not Cantonese, nothing. They have no tour guide or anything with them. They're going in totally blind. Okay, so they go into the Sony store and they're looking around. And all of a sudden, I guess one of them wants or is interested in this tripod. It looks like a pretty good tripod or whatever. It's I guess it's like a Vivitar or whatever brand name. I can't quite remember, but it's it's a fairly decent sort of tripod. And I think they sometimes put the price on it, and I think the price was about 400 yuan or something like that or whatever. So 6 to 1, it's probably around $70. Okay, so whatever. Okay, so it's not really great. It's a little bit cheaper than what we probably would have went and bought at London Drugs, because it's probably like $99 or whatever at London Drugs or whatever. So it's about $70 or whatever probably here. So I mean, okay, so it's a little bit cheaper. It's probably a little bit better than the $99 one at a cheaper price. So okay, I mean, I get it, sure, all right. And so so these German guys, they point at it, and they get the one guy goes and gets the sales guy, and they bring the sales guy here, and I guess they sort of, can't they can't speak Chinese to the guy, right? So they don't know, but they just sort of, they kind of point at it, going, this one, no, this one, right? And okay, so because they can't speak Chinese or whatever, and they can't negotiate anything to it, what they do is they, the sales guy, what they do is they'll pick up one of these calculators, okay, from this table, like or the counter, okay. And then what they'll do is they'll have a price on it that says 400 or whatever, and then the German guy would pick up the calculator, and then he'll type in a number on the calculator, and then hand it back to the salesperson, right? And with his offers, like, so maybe the guy wants to get it for like half price or something, or something, right? And then he wants it for a cheaper price, right? So then the salesperson will take the number, and then he'll go, okay. Then he'll type in a number or whatever. He'll hand it back to them, and then the German guys will go, okay, all right, and then they'll type another number, and then they'll hand it back to him, and then they basically did that about 2 or 3 times, and I guess they came across a price or whatever, and then they go, okay, good, yeah, good, okay. And so then the salesperson and that they go off, and they go and get the product in a box for them, and then they go and pay for it and do all that other stuff, right? But what they did is they took the calculator and they put it back onto the table, okay, and they just left it on the table. So I said, okay, all right, I'll go up there, and I'll kind of bend over and kind of look at the calculator and go, oh, okay, yeah. It says like 250 on it. Okay, so basically, I guess what had happened is that they were at 400, and they negotiated back and forth, and then they finally locked down on a price at 250 yuan. Okay, which 6 to 1, 45, 50 bucks. Okay, so they knocked 25 bucks off the price or whatever, 33% off or whatever. So okay, they thought that was a good deal. All right, good, yeah, it's to us, that would have been like, your $99, the tripod type of thing, down to like, half price. So it'd be like, 50 bucks or whatever. And to us, that would have been a pretty good deal or whatever. And that's great. That would have been, I probably would have, if London Drugs did something like that, then, sure. That probably would have been a good deal. Anyway, so, I didn't think anything of it, great, whatever, just sort of, just kind of hanging around, looking at different things or whatever, and and my wife is still doing her thing, right? So I guess they're still trying to figure it out. And all of a sudden, this this couple comes in, young Chinese couple, again, they seem to be pretty fluent at Mandarin. They're talking and dibbing away at each other. And again, they walk in, and then they're looking around, and again, very shortly, they look at literally the same tripod. And again, 400 yuan, and then they'll say, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, it looks pretty good. Again, so one of them goes over and grabs the salesperson. And even when they know how to speak Mandarin and all kind of stuff, they still grab the calculator, okay? And then they say, I'm interested in this price and whatever. So the guy types in a number, and he gives it to the guy. And the guy goes, okay, yeah, blah, 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 so they, he types in another number, gives it back to him. Of course, they didn't have to do it as many times, maybe, once or twice, or, that was really about all they had to do. And they, they locked down on a price and said, okay, yeah, wait, yeah, okay, so they, they go off, and they go, get the stock for them, and then, of course, pay for it, and whatever, right? So, but again, they took the calculator, and they put the calculator on the table. So I thought, okay, this is interesting. I just kind of wandered over there, lean over and peek over and see what they got, okay? And I look at the thing, and it goes, oh, okay. So I look at it, and it goes, yeah, they got it for 170, okay? So, the German guys, they get it for 250, but, because you speak Chinese and everything else like that, they give it to you for 170, okay? So, again, that's why, that the moment I realized, yes, okay, it's very important, even though I look Chinese but I can't speak the language, you know, whenever we do negotiations, just tell my wife that's what I want, and then let her do all the talking, because she's going to be the one that's going to sit there and, you know, huff and howl and you know, bang on the table and all that other stuff and whatever. Let her do all the negotiations and that kind of stuff, because otherwise you're going to get burned because you don't know, right? So, anyway, that's my third German story that sort of happened and whatnot. Again, those guys probably still got a pretty good deal, even, you know, considering the, you know, the luxury tax and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway, that's sort of my my little you know, the shopping in China secret. Okay, is yeah, get someone who speaks actual Chinese and you know, looks Chinese. Okay, don't and then yeah, then you can get somewhere. Otherwise, yeah, prepare to, you know, take off your pants. And so what you want to do right now is then go down below and click like and click subscribe, and then you'll get more videos where I go over different parts of animes and different stories. And again, I got some more stories coming up about the conventions and that kind of stuff coming up. So until next time, see you again.